Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to another edition of the Senate Shorts. I'm your host, Neil. You know he's also your host, Derek.
Yeah.
And together, we are here to bring you another Senate Shorts. Now, y'all liking the content. Y'all appreciating it, good, bad, indifferent. We loving the engagement, we loving the feedback, good, bad, negative, different opinions. We love it. Then, why you ain't subscribed yet now? Why you hit that notification bell so you don't miss none of the content? Jeez, you ain't liking, you ain't disliking, you ain't sharing. What you doing here? Just take a minute, gather yourself together. We both improving lives. So hit the subscription button. You know what I mean? Hit the notification button. Then like or dislike, and then share or share, and let me get this community growing. All right. So my brother,
Yes, sir.
what you got for me?
Yeah, man. I got this one. This one came from Renee.
Right.
We got Renee, schoolmate of ours.
Yes.
And she sent this one. She figured that it'd be something that would do well for what we do. So thank you, Renee. We appreciate it.
Of
I also
course.
did realize that this one was actually trending a little bit. So I figured, you know what?
You
Let's
get
take
funny.
our little Senate swing at this, right? So it's a 17-year-old son.
So this one.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
He asked his dad if he could go on a date with a young lady from school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have his father's reply in the text box.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "That's fine. I want you home absolutely no later than 7:30.
All
Good
right.
day, right?
That's fine.
Cool. Public places only. No homes. No private rooms. No nakedness.
That's fine.
Be cool with that. At 17 years old, you know, maybe they're trying to teeth a little bit, but you know,
Yeah.
as parents now we could understand it. The
Sure.
nakedness, right?
Right.
So we good so far.
Right.
Comport yourself as a gentleman, respectful, polite. Yeah, you're raised a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and comport yourself as such. Be cool with that.
Yes, sir.
Open doors, offer to pay for everything.
All right. Well, I mean, you know, open door, sure, chivalry, and then offer to pay. You know,
Yeah.
we speak about this in this space all the time where men are the providers. Women acknowledge that too, that men are supposed to got the finances to take care of women. So I don't know if I would teach that at such a young age, but sure. Preparing your mind for what would any work.
It's funny because that's how we would approach it, Neil. As older guys, we came out in a different time.
Right.
So if I ask you, are you gonna pay?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just how we roll.
Yeah, that's how it is. I ain't necessarily got a problem with it.
The challenge for this guy is that he's coming up in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Height of, you know, womanism and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did a whole show about first dates and all that, Neil,
Mm-hmm.
a live stream. And I don't know if it wouldn't be more beneficial to make this young man more aware of the fact that I don't even know what to say with regards to that, because you still want to, as the gentleman, you're supposed to be the person facilitating this,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in the days of, you know, 50-50 and all that, I don't know if this is the best way to approach it, even if it is how I would approach it.
I
You get what
agree.
I'm saying?
I agree. For me, I would have said, you know, son, if you invite a woman out on a date,
Yeah.
you are
You
paying.
fund that.
Yeah, you funding that. I would more word it like that. I don't know if I would necessarily just leave it like that. I find it quite strange that this was handled completely via text. I don't know if the father lives with his son, if they live together.
Well,
or
he
what.
says he wants him home by 7:30.
Right.
So that kind of gives the impression that they do live together. But I don't know. As you said, it's a weird conversation over text.
I wouldn't do it over text. But if I were doing it over text, or if I were having this conversation with my son, I would tell him, you know, if you invite out a woman, be prepared to pay for the bill.
Yeah.
And be cognizant of where you take her, because if you carry her at tights, I hope you got tights money to cover she and the bill. But that's
Correct.
only if you ask the woman.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it if a woman asks you out, I ain't telling you not what with Vex money or not what whatever, but if you invite me out in 2021, I anticipate that
keeping it a little different now.
at the very least, we getting 50-50 money. At the very, very least.
Here's where things start to get off your rails for me a little bit. So he says, listen way, and he has way in caps. Listen way more than you speak. She's the boss.
No, I'm glad you come to this. So, for me, I agree with half this statement. To me, on a first date, you don't want to talk about yourself all the time. You don't want to come over as being self-centered or egotistical. You want there to be a balance in the conversation. Ask questions. So, what are you into? Tell me, where do you work, or what do you study in there, young? So, what are you studying, or were you hoping to be, or were you planning to go to school, college, or whatever, right? What are your aspirations? But let it be a balance in a conversation. It's almost like tennis, right?
Let it be a conversation.
Let it be a conversation.
As opposed to a lecture.
She is the boss, my man. I don't understand what you're teaching, because there's no boss. This is the first date, number one. Number two, in 2021, we are teaching equality. We are teaching that we speak about it equally yoked. We are speaking about people being on the same page. And again, come back to equality. Then a boss, then a leader. Because
if that's what we want.
If that's what we want. We talked about it before. And it's a very conflicting message, because you're telling him to pay for the date, ensuring that a man can provide. And no, you coming back and saying she's the boss. So then, I love the expression you say, "Hey, back here, rough monkey to run by here." You understand? So I don't understand why he would put in that she's the boss. I don't know your thoughts on it.
Here's the thing, Neil, about that. As you said, he has to offer to pay for everything. Right? All right, cool. But she's the boss. What has she done to earn the title of boss? The very next thing he tells this young man is, you're simply honored she chose to spend time with your goofy ass. Now here we have the challenge, Neil. For me, as I tell you, I say every week to this channel, we defend men, right? Yeah, no quarter given. I defend men, that's what I do, right? You cannot tell. And what's hurtful about this? Yeah, hurtful is a word. What's hurtful to me about this particular situation is that this is his father that's telling him this.
About his goofy ass.
Yeah? So his father is saying to him, yeah, you ain't got much worth all alone by your lonesome self.
All alone by her lonesome self.
This woman is coming now. Sorry, this school girl is coming. And she's essentially elevating you. You should be honored that she chose to go with you.
And all she do is turn up.
And that's it. All she has done is show up.
Showed up to the table.
I showed up to the table.
Grace.
She graces the table.
I graced your table with my presence. What do you mean?
We did a short about that. You know what I mean? Fellas, we need to... I am not saying to discard all the things he would have highlighted before about opening doors and paying and all that stuff and being a gentleman. I'm not discarding all that.
We actually agree with those things.
We agree with that. But this talk about she's the boss and you should be honored that she's going out with you. Like, if you have absolutely no value, fellas, we need to recognize that we as men do have value.
We do have value.
We do have value. And especially if I am the person paying. But shoot, I am the body.
I am bringing the value.
Bringing the value.
I am bringing value.
The situation.
Right.
Girlfriend just turn up.
So I took umbrage with that statement because, and this is why I believe that this is not necessarily real, right? Not only the fact that a father and son are having this conversation via text, particularly if it is, one can deduce that they live together. Even if they don't live together, I still feel as though that's a conversation that we better had in person. But regardless, how can you tell your son, you should be glad, you should be honored that she's going out with your goofy ass? So now you are demeaning him, and you are training him to demean himself to the woman. So
and make himself less than a woman. I am hoping that the goofy ass thing was in jest.
But to me, it's still. I don't like the message because you should be honored she going up with you with your goofy ass. Again, you may be right. They may have a relationship where they're riding on each other, a lot of teasing, a lot of joking, and that whole statement may just be being facetious. Like you should be honored. She going up with you goofy ass, as in,
Right.
you know, we
Doing
right
my juice.
yeah, we just met sport other one other, and you know, anybody should be glad to go with you. Sure,
Yeah, because men joke differently.
right. So I don't know if I could. I still feel it. I don't know if I would say that to my son in a very serious context with regards to a first date or a date. You know what I mean? Like,
Because everything prior to that has been very serious.
yes, and your son is coming to you as a man, as a father, to guide him and to show him how to be a man in this situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He literally has no previous knowledge, working knowledge of it. He may see movies, he may see, you know, what happens on social media or whatever, he may hear from friends, but he personally does not have a working knowledge or cheat sheet, a handbook on how to go about these things. So to me, I feel as though, yeah, you can rag on your son and y'all could be joking, like, y'all in front yard playing basketball.
Yeah, but then the LOL, then the emoji, nothing here
to
suggest that this is in jest, right?
And I won't joke here. I won't joke. Not in this situation.
Anyway, he says, your job is to be chivalrous, courteous, and kind, while simultaneously being protective and strong. You're a man, but moreover, you're my son. Conduct yourself accordingly. He says, yes, sir. My man says, love you. I love you too, Pops.
All right, fine. Now, that last statement there, I feel like the man is 17, though. I understand. You want the man to be chivalrous. You want the man to be kind. You don't want him to be an a-hole. You know what I mean? Like, I could get down with that first part. But you got to protect. I feel as though you're placing a lot on, like, okay, so you're teaching your son how to be a man in this context, in this situation, right? So it is a conflicting rhetoric to me that you want him to conduct himself as my son, or as a man, or as, like me, a man, but then he is saying, you know, you are, with your goofy ass,
yeah, she's the boss of you.
Yeah, she's the boss. You know, she is the prize. She is it. And I think that is where we run ourselves in problem. That is where part of the reason some of this whole thing gone topsy-turvy, because you train men, you train boys, particularly men to boys in this context. You're training them to be, you know, to kind of not lure. I don't want to say lure, but you're elevating someone onto a pedestal.
Correct. I was just going to say that. Pedestalizing.
Right. You pedestalizing someone, and you are treating that person as if they are the prize. Right.
And nothing's wrong with that, Neil. Nothing's wrong with that. However, in this discourse, he has not said to the son, this is what you should expect. This is what you should look for from her.
And also value yourself as a prize, as well as having value, as bringing value to the situation.
Exactly. And that's the main challenge I have, because as you said, he's encouraging his son to pedestalize this girl. And without any thought to what she's supposed to offer or bring. But before we really get into it, Neil, you know, some of our guys were in the chat, and because this was sent to us via Facebook, and a couple of our guys, they were in there doing us proud.
Oh?
And yeah, man, a couple of the guys were in the comment section I represented. One person said, describing the young lady as a boss, I can understand that perfectly. Don't charge in as a bull in a china shop, dictating how your time together will go. Let her dictate the pace of the conversation. Hence, listen way more than you speak. His dad is teaching him not just how to go on a date, but what are the secrets to a successful date. Have a look at the responses of the women in this thread. The young lady will leave feeling as though the young man is interested in her, not just there because she's pretty. Read the offer to pay for everything. There's more, Neil, there's more. Really? Which man is going to spend everything he has on a woman in a single night? The young man has no common sense. Even so, the operative word is offer to pay for everything, an indication that he is free to allow her to pay if she insists. But you and I know, Neil, how many women coming up out of pocket like that? Especially at 17 years old. And that it is the things which come up in the date that are being referred to, not that he's taking her shopping at Gucci. Because the men who have raised issues point out what those issues are, please. I'm really confused.
All right, let me break it down. Let me break it down, right? So it's like this, right? The issue here is that as fathers, we are charged with raising young men and women, right? Now, I am the father of a son, of a boy, of a potential man, a future man. My role is to teach him how to be a man while simultaneously understanding his worth and value in this thing, all while being humble and understanding that the world does not owe him anything. It's a very, very delicate balance, and it is a very precarious balance, because the wrong information you give to your son, he may potentially go extreme one way or the other. No, I'm going to go how I would do it. Yeah, and I think Derek is going to kind of agree with me, because we are similarly linked when it comes to things like this. But how I would approach if my son were to come to me and say, Daddy, we're going on a date. Be home by 7:30, not a problem. No homes, public places only, the nakedness, complete. There's standard fare, right? Listen, be attentive, don't talk by yourself too much. Let her speak. It's a conversation, not a monologue. No problem with that. Offer to pay, open doors. I have no problem with that either. And I can touch on that part there, because you open doors. I have been raised to open doors for women. I do that all the time. I understand that it's not always about me, so I listen sometimes more than I talk, and I talk more than, you kind of got to feel out that balance. But because going into a situation, you've never been in a situation before, you would advise him to ask questions and to not make it all about you and don't, we always talk, don't be the I man, I, me. You know what I mean?
Rastafarian.
Right. So you encourage her and you foster conversation, right? No problem offering to pay, because not only is that what you do when you ask out someone, whether it be a platonic relationship or a romantic potential relationship, if you ask out someone, you pay. If you know that you're coming up short, and let the person know you're coming up short, you might go Dutch on this thing, right? Likewise, if you are asked out, there's nothing wrong with going Dutch, but there's nothing wrong with offering to pay either. I agree with all of that. Now, we take an issue with him saying she is the boss. And then not only she is the boss, but you should be honored she's going over your goofy ass. That is where the tightrope part comes in, because you have to let him understand that she is bringing value, because you've asked out this young lady, and this young lady has expressed an interest by saying yes to go out with you. So there's an initial mutual interest, right? You have to understand that yes, she is important, but she is not the boss. While she may be the prize or the objective of securing a relationship with this woman, you still have to understand that you too have value. You too have a bit of aura around you where, you bring value. It's not just, I got money and I just think. You are bringing value too. We talked about the whole goofy ass comment that could be potentially facetious, and how they, rag on each other and how they tease each other. But the problem here is that we men have to raise men. We men also have to raise women. Just like how women have to raise men and women have to raise women. It is a collaborative effort between father and mother. So, with that being said, I think that how I would approach it, I would say, son, first part, we good. But I would say, listen, don't be out here speaking all the time, talking about me, I. Ask the woman questions. You are interested in this woman, and you want to foster a conversation. Second, understand that you have to be chivalrous to this woman. You have to be kind to this woman. You have to be considerate and attentive to this woman. But yet still, do not do it to the detriment of yourself. Do not take disrespect. You understand what I mean? Because you still have to have value within yourself. I would say, son, you have to understand that how you carry yourself and how you move yourself with value is also important. You don't want to be going around with this woman as if you are her servant.
Correct.
Or you're at her beck and call.
It sounds like he's saying essentially as be back and call, right? One lady responds, she says, great advice. I find absolutely nothing wrong with any of it. Of course you don't. Yeah, of course. Right? But a couple of our guys came in the comment section. Kwame was like, what nonsense is this? Rebel Hall, another one of our viewers, says, why do I feel like a woman wrote this? I agree with half of this advice only. And Fergie said, I hope his mother taught him to pick out the parts that make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason, right? In 2021, the men are coming into the chat and saying, because the first responder said that the ladies in the chat obviously had no problem with this because they are
It elevates their station. It puts them
and they're
on the pedestal.
I'm being catered to.
Mm-hmm.
Being catered to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With having to do
Nothing!
So there's a reason that in 2021, men have challenges with this, right? I tell you all the time, ladies, you need to decide on which side of the fence you intend to fall. It is either you are going to be a delicate flower, or you can be that strong, independent woman who don't need no man. If you choose to be on the strong, independent, don't need no man side, raise them from small so that when a young man asks her out at 17 years old, the immediate response should be, all right, cool, where are we going? Are you gonna pay?
Or hold on, not across you, but also she gonna be asking out the young man.
Even that.
Strong and independent.
Yeah, be strong and independent, right? Because we've heard nothing from that side. Gentlemen, do not raise your sons to believe that this is how life plays out, because you and I know, Neil. You and I know. And we say all the time in the live stream, there will be another guy that she likes who in can ship on a date.
That now go happen. That will never happen. You will never live to see that happen.
He ain't holding the doors.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
He ain't staying in the public places.
Nope.
He going in private rooms and his nakedness. And he ain't spending the money.
He about sock. He about bag, a ribbon, not off for she hair. Nothing!
You know what I mean? And shoot, he may be 17, and that may be a lesson he may need to learn for himself. But shoot, I learned it at 15. Daddy, you could teach you from early. Women are not like banks. You don't get what you put in. So let this young man know up front, yeah, give as good as you get. If she treats you well, shoot. But then she has earned the right to all of them things.
Mm-hmm.
But if she just coming to be a barnacle, nah, don't encourage that.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. It's like you know, on a first date, right? Regardless of age, on a first date, it is both of you. Obviously, you're both there, so there's a mutual interest, but you're also kind of determining if this is something you want to carry on and sustain. This is
Correct.
essentially the first. It's always said the first impression. You know, you're always going to make a first impression, right? So if you go in there and you treat this woman like this woman is your employer or your queen. You understand what I mean? A queen. Let's understand. I'm not saying not treat a woman like a queen, but don't treat the woman like she's sovereign. Don't treat the woman like she's Queen Elizabeth. You gotta treat her like she's your equal. Because if you treat her like a queen, she must be treating you like a king. And that's the whole point of it. I will implore my son that anytime you get involved with a woman or you go on a date with a woman, you want an equal. You don't want somebody that you are sycophant behind. You don't want somebody that you are at their service. You know what I mean? Like, she is the boss. I would say, listen, she is important. How you treat her matters. You have to move with confidence, but you also have to move with grace. You have to. It's a tight line, son. Yeah. You have to show that you're a man, but you also have to show that you have a soft side. You understand? You have to portray masculine energy when it's necessary. You have to portray feminine energy when it's necessary. You understand? Because you want her to know that you are a strong, protective type, but you also want her to understand that you ain't gonna take no guff, you ain't gonna take no bother. I ain't tell you go there and like you know what I mean? Like, I ain't tell you go in there like, you know, like use King Herod and you backhanding the woman. I ain't tell you nothing so. But you have to know that you are the same way you
have value.
The same way that she should be honored that you are there with her, she should be honored that you are taking her out on a date. So you have value too. It is not as black and white as saying, yeah, she's the boss, you go do everything for her. No, but on the other hand, it's not as black and white as she go, you know, suck up to you because you're the man. No, it is yin and yang.
Just wait till you say my name.
It is yin and yang. You want this man to be equally yoked with this potential woman. You gotta teach him from early that it's not about you, as you say, pedestalizing a woman. You doing and all the woman gotta do is show up. She just gotta show up, look as good as she could look, and she show up.
If she feel it.
if she feel like that is making a road for monkey to run on. Teach your children, men and women, people out there, teach your children, both boys and girls, teach them when the time comes that it is not, women are not to cater to men and men are not to cater to women, particularly on this is a first date. We ain't talking about marriage, we ain't talking about domestication, we talking about first date at 17, yo.
First date.
A first date. I said, son, don't dim your light. You see, that's the thing. We say this all the time. You say it so many times on the memes on Instagram. Don't dim your light. Don't, our fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Like, don't dim your light for nobody. So it's as simple. When you go out with a woman, at the end of the day, she's Miss Lady X, but you's Mr. Y though. So when you step out, son, step out with confidence, but also understand there is grace and humility. You gotta teach, and it's not as simple as just a text teaching a boy or a girl how to move in a first date. It is nuanced. It is conversation. It is understanding how that child is to move in certain social situations, and as a man or a woman, how to have social graces. So I don't 100% agree with everything that is said there. Again, we don't know the full story, but at the end of the day, we have to be very careful what messages we're sending to our children, because our children are going to be the future.
I believe the children are our future.
Those are going to replace us when we're dead and gone. And if we want to change the dynamic that's going on right now, where every other day somebody about to get cancelled, or every other day somebody taking up an issue with how or what is women are treated and how, if we want to change this dynamic and have women to be treated better and to be men feel that they're valued, we got to start with them as children. So we have to watch what we say to children, particularly in serious and important situations. Everything in the skin teeth matter. Everything you got to cater to her. Everything you got to bow down to him. No, it is nuanced. So I feel very passionate about this, because as a father, I don't take my role very lightly. And I will never joke around with the man and say, let me tell you something, boy. Don't, she should be glad. But you goofy ass. No. I would tell him that afterward. When he come home, he tell me, yeah, boy, daddy date went well and things like that. We would do a little hold on and thing. I say, you should be glad with your goofy ass.
That's
sure.
Different.
But not
different context.
That's different context, but not in the beginning, man. Come on.
When you going out there and, getting out and you putting it out there that, she's saying that, yeah, you lower than this chick, and as such you should be just glad, happy to be there. Like if you're the AFC in the first round,
whatever you get, you got to. Nah.
It can't work. It ain't gonna work with me.
It's not gonna work with me.
And also too, just before we wrap up there, I find it very interesting that, as you said, the people that were in support of this were women.
Yeah.
Women that don't have any understanding of how to raise a boy as a man. How important it is for masculine energy to raise masculine energy. So I find it particularly interesting that because it puts the woman in a position of, as you say, pedestalization, that women have no problem with it. When we created
that's part of the course.
Women, listen, I'm not telling you all that your input in raising a man is not important. I obviously agree with that, because human beings are made up of masculine and feminine energy. Obviously, men are made up of more masculine energy than feminine, most men, and women are more feminine than masculine, right? But it takes both. And to be honest, a woman cannot show a boy how to be a man. Not by herself and not exclusively. That should fall, especially when we talk about the man-woman dynamic. I feel like it is so important for a man to guide and raise the boy. But
it's critical to note that this young man reached out to his dad and got the advice that he got. You know what I mean? So, man, we really got to be careful the stuff that we put out there, especially when we know, let's not go with the Disneyfication of relationships. Let me put it that way. It makes no sense setting up this young man for failure, because it doesn't work like that in the real world. You know what I mean? Let this young man know, be on your P's and Q's, but this is what you gotta look for on her end. It can't be just on bare traffic you doing, and she just turn up and say, yeah.
You remember there was a movie back in the day, an old classic movie called It was a Bronx Tale, where an old guy gave advice to a youngster.
Here's what you do. Tomorrow you borrow my car. You give her a door test. You pull her right where she is, right? Before you get out of the car, you lock both doors. Then you get out of the car, you walk over to her. You bring her over to the car. You take out the key, put in the lock, open the door for her.
There is before central locking and all that.
Yeah, that can't work, no.
Then you let her get in. Then you close the door for her. Then you walk around the back of the car and you look through the rear window. If she doesn't reach over and lift up that button for you so you can get in, dump her. If she doesn't reach over and lift up that button for you so you can get in, that means she's a selfish broad and all you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg. You dump her and you dump her fast.
That is a keeper. Where's that advice in all of this?
Exactly.
Where's that advice?
That old guy was still able to say, this is what you should look for.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy here ain't provide nothing so. Daddy said, do. Ask for nothing. And that is what's running. That is what has run our relationships, our relationship dynamic into problems. And that's what we know trying to get corrected. That's why our guys came in the comment section. It's like, this is nonsense.
Yeah, we're working with this.
Yeah, and at all. Big up the Senate crew in the comment section, man. Guys, this has been another Senate Short. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. We really appreciate it. Hit the notification bell. Make sure that you get all the content we got for you guys. And we will see you again very, very soon.
It's a contaminated environment. In the tutus about that.